Yo, what's good? I'm Halbo, and this is the Art Block, a show where I take a closer look at the world of art and culture through the lens of a black artist. I'm often joined by friends and colleagues from all corners of the industry while we make art and chat about it at the same time. For this episode, I'm joined by my homie and fellow Brooklynite, Chuck Collins, the creator of the Bouncer webcomic. You need to check that out. All links will be in the description of this video below. Just also as a disclaimer, we had some issues with the sound, so I tried my best to EQ everything so that everything is at like the perfect levels for listening, but just keep your hands on the knob just in case, and hopefully everything sounds fine. But without further ado, let's get into it. Well, yeah. Yo, the first thing, honestly, that I want to come up here with is TikTok, bro. Like that's gone. That's about to be gone January 19th. They passed the bill.
I just saw the news, like literally, I think about maybe 10 minutes before you hit me up, and I was checking to see if everything was all good. And I was like, yo, I thought we had like some time. I thought we had like,
We did. It was like
period.
6 months ago, like 6, 7 months ago.
No, but I figured that, I didn't know they were going to push it through this quick. I thought that we'd at least have up to like May.
Yeah.
But apparently I was wrong. I was a little bit too optimistic. I realize I have been a little bit optimistic over the past few months, and I should go back to my pessimism.
Nah. Stay in the optimism, man. We love it. We love it. It's good for your heart, man. It's good for your heart.
Oh my God. That's what it is. I mean, honestly, like I started making a lot of really cool connections on TikTok. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh boy, now I gotta figure out how to re-navigate. But the cool thing is being on Blue Sky feels like I'm starting over because everything became so trolly and ridiculous on X.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I don't like how
I
this is going.
I'm upset because I just got to 10,000 followers on TikTok and now it's about to go away. So now I got to figure out how to move all them people to whatever other platform I choose and try to grow from there, cuz it's like it's it's not hard, but there is some tedium to it. Like
Oh
you
no,
can't just like wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna post today," and then you get 1 million followers.
exactly, because you have to have like, one of those. I suck at that stuff, so I'm like, you know, anyone who gets that, I'll just be like, kudos to you, man. But
Yeah,
like, I know it's a grind.
yeah, it's a big grind, and I think a lot of people are now realizing that too. Because you don't really
Yeah,
see, I feel like you don't really see a lot of people just trying to like make stuff and put stuff
yeah,
like random stuff out there. Now I'm seeing, I feel like maybe it's just my feed and how I optimize it, but I feel like
yeah.
I'm seeing more quality artwork and videos and like social media content now than I had before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. When they say to curate the algorithm, that's like a thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll sit there and, honestly, I mean, well, my brain goes it's a little scatterbrained, but my algorithm will go from really cool, awesome, like neo soul, black liberation stuff, and then all of a sudden there's UFOs, and then there's I saw a skinwalker. I have this thing, like I love seeing those like videos of like people being like, I think something's in the house. Just so I can see how fake they are. Because I love like catching them up. It's like that shit ain't real. Like me and a friend of mine, he has a cabin up in Massachusetts, and we used to go there for Labor Day. And then we sit there and then like watch YouTube on the big screen TV, and then
hmm
we sit there and get drunk and then watch like all these like caught on video things. We're like, man, that was
Ghost
fake.
caught on tape.
Exactly.
Look at this ghost in the corner twerking.
Exact
She's
word. And I'm
dancing
just
to
sitting there.
Glorilla.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there like, nah, man, ain't no way. And even if some of the ones that do look real, I'm just like, that's kind of creepy, man." I'm saying, but why are they there though? Why are you there? Why are you in that
Why
house?
you in my
You
house specifically?
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Like you can't haunt somewhere else, please leave me alone.
word up. so I say all that to say I spent a long time trying to build up that algorithm, and then all of a sudden now it's inundated with all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah. Mine
you
is a
know,
mix of like animation. I see a lot of great independent animators on there.
oh yeah,
I'll see recently it's been like for like I'll see like the lives come by and sometimes they'll be like the ghost hunter people. So they'll have like they'll be in a cemetery or they'll be in an empty house and they'll be like talking to ghosts. Sometimes I
yes,
see like the I don't know if you've seen this, but it'll be like the dating game. Like the people come on and they like try to speed date on TikTok. You haven't
no, I
seen
haven't
that?
seen.
Yo,
No, wait
no,
a minute,
it's
wait a
so
minute.
crazy.
I think I did see something like that though. There's a singer that I really like. Oh my god, I can't remember her name right now. So it's with the T. Uh, really tall, beautiful black woman. Oh my god. Anyway, I follow her on TikTok because I really like her music, and then I saw her like doing these matches, and I was just like, "This is weird." And then the dudes that are in there just sitting there trying to be all sort of like, "Yeah, yeah." He's just over there trying to have. If someone is willing to live that much as in a duality of themselves to aspire to this perceived notion of fame, fortune, and quote unquote making it, then that doesn't really say much about you as a person. It's like at the end of the day, I tend to think about it a lot of times, like one of the things that when we first start becoming artists is that, oh, yo, I want to, do this, I want to get an animation, I want to get all that stuff. And then you start to work in the business. And then there's like, well, you know what? I'm talking for myself. And you work you work in the business and then you begin to see how a lot of things operate. And then and you're sitting there to yourself saying, is this really for me though? Like I can I guess try to navigate through this, but is this something that I can say, you know what, I'm very proud of the person that I became? Or
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
right.
And I even have friends who work at big name studios now, and I can tell that they hold back when things are happening, when bad things happen in the industry, when people get laid off, or this show gets canceled, or this one gets laid off, or this, that, and the third, and they don't really say nothing. They might like a post, they might retweet a post, but they're not saying nothing
They're not
vocally.
saying
They're not saying it themselves. So it's just like it any form of corporate, industry level position that you're in, you're never going to be allowed to be yourself. But there's that like duality of like, I need to survive, but also it's like where do I draw the line for the integrity? And I feel like
right.
a lot of the times like you can't cross that line because you're going to lose your job. You get blacklisted. That's why a lot of people don't talk,
Yeah. And
which
it's an
sucks.
unfortunate thing. Yeah, it's funny, right? It's like I once had a conversation with one of my younger brothers, and he was like, I forgot what we were talking about. And he always likes to say this. He always like to say, you know, and shout out to him if he sees this. I love him to death. My worldview and his worldview are completely different.
Yeah.
But he always says, but that's the game, man. That's the game, and that's the way it is. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to tell you that the game is broken. The actual console you think you're trying to master is broken, like glitched. And we've got to figure out a way to unglitch it. It's like, even everything you just said, it's like some people want to say things that happen and they want to say, oh snap, I'm supporting XYZ, but they're afraid to get blacklisted. And you can't blame them. But
Yeah.
then to go a little bit different and to go, people want to attack like, the personality and say, well, you fucked up because you should be able to stand up and everything. But you have to also start to question is the environment and the systems put into place for them to have that reaction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that environment? What is wrong with them standing up and speaking their mind and saying like this is a messed up position to be in. You should pay people more. You shouldn't treat people like XYZ. Why is that seen and frowned down upon? And why is that a norm?
Because
That's
people want mindless workers and not people that think, because people that think cause problems and don't make enough money. This is what happened with I'm a little tapped in with the music industry stuff sometimes 'cause I follow Anthony Fantano, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
interviewing somebody from DistroKid, which is a music publishing. It's like very independent, and anybody like you and me can just go up there and post our music. And a
right.
lot of the workers unionized recently, and all those people that unionized got laid off.
Jesus
So
Christ.
it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's like I don't even know what to say in situations like that, because they did try to do the right thing. They did try to create a safer environment for themselves, to look out for themselves, to uh, have some sort of backing in case the company does something crazy. But then boom, you get stuff like this. The whole team got laid off. That was like 30 something people, 35 people.
It says a lot about the normalities of this world, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we see is you know, you can't really say anything. It's like everybody who says something or does something, you know, they become the outliers in a lot of situations. They're the ones that are looked down upon, like you can't be saying these kind of things. And then and you know, like I've always said this, everybody likes Hobie Brown in the movies, but nobody likes Hobie Brown in real life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Everybody thinks he's cool when he's in the movies talking about all of the anti-establishment shit. But the moment in real life you got a friend of yours that starts saying all that, you're like, man, nigga, shut up.
Can I give you a hot take? Can I
What's
can
that?
I don't what's that new meme on TikTok? We listen, we don't judge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
I actually don't like Hobie, however you
You
say
got
his
it?
name. I don't like him because I don't know, he just felt kind of annoying. Like it felt like it was kind of ham fisted, his character, the way they put it in there. I don't know if he's
Right,
like that in the comics, but it just was like, all right, bro, you don't like the system. All right, then leave. Why you still here? Well, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Like if you
And
saw
maybe
him
he
in
was
that
just trying to like get
character,
more people to disrupt, but it was just like, all right, bro. Like how many times you going to say like, hey, I don't do this, I'm cool. Like, all right,
hmm
we get it.
no, I get it. I had a huge. There's a few characters in that whole universe I have a big problem with. I mean, but that's not even so much in the movie itself. That just goes with the whole development of the Miles Morales character. You know, having it my take, and a lot of people I used to have, me and Cameron used to get into it about that. You know, we not like sitting there getting into it about like, you know, like we have like stupid arguments like you sleeping on the couch tonight, like that. But it was like, no, we have debates about, you know, propaganda. And Miles's dad, you know, was an NYPD's officer. And nigga, we know how NYPD is. Like, ain't nobody on the force that altruistic like Miles's dad. That shit is
Hmm.
just, Olivia Benson does not exist. Let's keep it 100. Like that's what it is. So like when I see a lot of these characters, especially like Miles' dad, what is his name again?
I forgot, honestly.
I forget his name. He
Dang,
had
what was
some,
his name? He was only in the
yeah,
movie for like 2 seconds.
yeah, I know, right? But he's in everything for 2 seconds because he there you go. In the game, he was there for 2 seconds. You know?
Yo, wait, hold on. I just realized that. Why they stay killing off the dad like that?
Word
Damn.
up. But he's his Uncle Ben. Oh well, actually, isn't it isn't it supposed to be his uncle, the Prowler dude, supposed to be his Uncle Ben?
His canon event. I think it's supposed to be his
Yeah,
dad,
it's supposed to be his
because
dad.
it was
Yeah.
him and Gwen had the similar canon event where the police officer dad was supposed to die, and
Yeah,
technically it
yeah.
wasn't supposed to be Miles anyway because he's like the glitch in the system. So I
Right.
think he like threw stuff off.
And that's what the whole thing is. So my thing is, you know, it's a lot of the propaganda, like, you know, TV likes to portray the police as like this super altruistic force, you know, like, you know, every police station is like a little mini Avengers headquarters. And that shit don't fucking exist, man.
Or they
Like
try to make
that's
it comical, like Brooklyn 99. It's like
yeah, I
everybody's having
mean,
fun and eating pie. I'm like,
exactly.
ooh,
It's so cool. See, look how cool we are over here. Like, nah, that's not I know police something like that shit is
yeah.
it is not what you think it is. So like when you have a character like that, and then on the other side of the coin, you also have a character like Hobie, which is this character that we know. Now, when I mean like a Hobie in real life, I'm talking about like that anti-establishment rebel dude who's always, or girl who's always at protests out here, really doing work, you know, in the community and fighting for a lot of causes. And what do? We always frown on those people. Get a real job. Things ain't gonna change. None of that stuff really matters. Why are you always upset? All of these other things. But if you see a character like that in a movie, everyone's rooting for him,
Mm.
which always gets me. So that I said, well, me and Karen were debating. I said, in actuality, Hobie's, I don't want to say it because I dig the character and I dig, the design. I love what they did even in the comics with him, but he's a minstrel. Big
Damn. Whoa.
let me elaborate on that. Disney, okay, Marvel Studios, big corporation. A real character like that would be in front of Disney protesting right now. A real character like that would actually be leading the cause, talking about, yo, we need a revolution. Look what they just did to the CEO real quick. It's real causes. Let's go and put a march. Let's go and go march in front of Washington and lean on Biden until he gives Mumia Abu Jamal a pardon or he releases Leonard Peltier. Like, this is the kind of person that Hobie would be in real life. And Disney took that, made a character out of it, and told us, like, hey, look how cool he is, right? But in real life, y'all don't like that nigga because he gets in the way of you getting the things that you want, which is a normal life in America.
Well, you just made me think about something. So we know the Hobies in real life. Usually they don't get televised. It's usually underground, not underground, but it's like grassroots. They don't post on social media like that because they busy working. And then you have the characters like Hobie Brown, or you have characters like Huey or whoever else. Those are sanitized versions because to a degree we are not in full control of how the narrative is going to play out. So yeah, Hobie is in this movie. This is a black Spider-Man movie, but we're not going to get like the full like rebel radical Hobie that I think in the comics he kill a president in the comics, like he chopped somebody's head off with a guitar or something like that.
I think that was one of the major things. Like, he went against he brought it to Washington. Like, he had his own punk rock version of January 6th. Like, that's what happened. So, like, he had like all these super speakers and went took the president on. Of course, I think the president was about to take over the world or some shit. I don't know. It's comic book.
Yeah,
You
it's evil President
it's
Nixon
like
or some shit.
word. Like, it was just crazy. But the thing about it is, it's like when you look at that, it's like there's a book I read a long time ago. And it's called How Fascism Works. And in that book, it basically states how, fascism itself, the state itself, uses forms of self-expression and, your rebellious ways of fighting against the establishment against you. It's kind of, we saw the same thing happen in 2020 where all these companies was sitting here talking about like DEI and all this other shit, and they were like inclusion and diversity, and look how quickly all that shit left.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, people demanded it, they found a way to profit it off of it. This is usually how it always goes. And I, you know, and I say that, about Hobie, not I say it with a heavy heart because I really like that character. But I'm also conscious enough to see exactly what that is supposed to represent. And this is not in any way saying that any of the character designers or writers was sitting there talking about, yeah, we're gonna make him like this, but in reality, we know nobody, we know he ain't shit. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's like it is a trope that is embedded within us. that we usually put in storylines that we tend to, in some ways, root for, sometimes laugh at in the when we're consuming the entertainment, but in real life, when we are in real proximity with that person, we don't want nothing to do with it because it reminds us of how much we need to keep our head in the sand because we're trying to achieve that American lifestyle. So it's like,
Or to stay
you know,
safe.
or to stay safe, exactly, you know. And I don't blame some people for that because you got families to feed, you got to protect your stuff and everything else, and I get that. But if you're talking about you really want change and you really want to see the system work differently, then these radical steps are needed. I don't think a lot of people, I think that's the thing about this here is that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of things that we used to read about in books are starting to rear its ugly head again, like living in times of uncertainty, literally watching neo-fascism become a thing. It is like people like, now I read about that shit when I was in high school. That's a long time ago. That don't happen no more. Yeah, it's happening now. It's happening not just here, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the next year is going to be a very interesting year,
Oh
to say
yeah,
the
no,
least.
yeah. We're gonna see a lot of peculiar things happening. That's using that term lightly. And I think when it comes to making those really radical changes and whatnot, I think it has certain levels to it because everybody's not built like that. There are some people, that are ready to like throw Molotovs and like put themselves on the front lines and things like that. And there are a lot of people who will only go but so far. Like I know I don't see myself as a person that's going to be like, because I got stuff I need to take care of too. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm going to my way out of anything, but I know I have a limit, and I know
No,
that
no, yeah,
I can relay that to someone else. So it's like if someone else can carry that with me, or if someone else is like, hey, I'm going to be the one to do it for you, then it's like that
yeah.
symbiotic relationship. And I think that's where I think that's where a community aspect comes in, because there are people that are going to hand out flyers, but there are also going to be people that like will punch a police officer in the face.
I mean, look, the example is there in front of us, right? We literally watched this motherfucker John Wick somebody in the middle of Manhattan.
Yo, I didn't see I only saw the headline. So what happened?
Yo, so I don't know how much you know about the particular situation, but there's a CEO of, wait a minute, I'm forgetting. I think it was
United Healthcare?
healthcare. And what the thing was, this dude had parked himself in the city for about a week waiting for this guy
Damn.
and shot him point blank right before he was about to go into a board meeting and got away.
On some Agent 47 shit?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Silencer and all. And the gun that was used is an old school World War II type spy gun. Right. And on the casings, um it said deny, depose, and delay. There was a book by, I think his name is Dr. Finneman, who wrote about how insurance companies use this tactic called deny, delay, and it wasn't depose, it was another one. And it basically talks about these are steps and protocols that insurance companies make to screw people out of their money.
Damn.
So this book came out years ago. And now, a lot of people are making that comparison. I was one of the first people to catch it because I remember, I didn't read the book, but I remember seeing the book a long time ago. And I was like, I know I recognize where this is from. And after doing some digging, I just threw the thing in Google and then I got the actual book came up on Amazon and I posted it on Blue Sky. Like, yeah, I think he was reading this book when he was thinking about doing this shit. And it was and so what you see now is you're looking at an entire system of people who rely on insurance to take care of them, people who should have medical coverage, people who deserve medical coverage. And for the past few years, companies like, in fact, his company, the one that he was CEO of, was using a faulty AI system, an algorithm, to deny people their claims. And so I'm going to go ahead and assume that the person who did the Merkin either got screwed out of some money or knew someone or someone in his family probably passed from waiting for on insurance, something on that level. Because for you to be this calculated, it's personal. Knowing where the guy works, knowing where he was going to show up, parking yourself in front of there. And the thing that was crazy was you did it enough to engrave a message into the bullet casings. So I'm sitting there like, and it's much like you said, you got some people that will sit out there handing out the pamphlets, doing something, and then you have a motherfucker that will punch a cop in the face. That's what that guy is. He's like, and we've talked about it enough where we realize a lot of these CEOs and major billionaires and corporations have been screwing people for a very long time. People are fed up. No one's really doing anything. No one's changing. In fact, it's getting worse. We got a lot of these motherfuckers getting ready to get into office. No reason why Elon Musk should be deciding the life of all the citizens of this country. Makes no sense, but it's happening. And then when we see that, you're gonna have a motherfucker that's gonna be like, I don't think so. I'm done. Like, that. And usually what it does is it sparks something. Because if you see what's been happening, no one has sympathy for this dude because they know exactly what he represents. Talking about the CEO. No one. Everybody on here is cracking a meme, a joke, or anything because on a large scale, everyone can compare to that. Everyone has had a situation where they know someone or it's happened to them or their family members where they can't get any medical insurance. Some people just don't go to the hospital because they can't pay for it. And it resonated with a lot of people. People are like, yo, and when you think about it, the guy, he's gonna go and if they arrest him, they have to now figure out the kind of person that he is, which in terms, all of that knowledge becomes public. And what does that do? That will spark interest from other people to be like, you know what? Maybe I could do it and I could do it better than he did. If they kill him and if they catch him and then they kill him, he's now a martyr. He's now a hero. He's already a hero. People are looking at him as like this crazy vigilante guy. So there is something inherently wrong with our system that we're sitting there rooting for a guy like that. Why are we rooting for him? I don't think people are really asking that question when the media reports is why is everyone rooting for that guy? Because we all know what these companies do to people. And I think that everything else, like you have a tipping scale. You can't have things like this that are that are out of balance for so long and the scale doesn't tip. Some point, somebody's gonna do it. And that was that motherfucker that did that shit this week.
Oh, it's Rick, not Rick.
I know, right?
All my characters, you could probably tell what I just watched.
Wait, what is it? Because this dude in the back here looks like the dude from Fat Albert. That's what he kind of
I'll take
reminded
it.
me
I'll
of.
take it. I love the Fat Albert character designs. But nah, I had watched Lascars on the train. I was coming back home.
Mm, mm.
I found out it was a TV show first in like 1998.
Oh, see, yeah, I haven't finished it because some stuff came up. I
Yeah.
was in the middle, I was getting into it, and I was like, I gotta come back. And I was trying to finish it before
How far'd you get?
we were supposed to. Shit. I'm still like towards the beginning. Like these dudes are in the airport getting ready to go to
Oh
wherever
yeah,
they go.
yo, them dudes is clowns, bro.
They're
Straight up
hilarious.
clowns.
I mean, yo, I loved it. But the thing is, here's the thing. I kept having to go back because I became so enamored with the style of it. Like I was like, okay, I need to see how they did this, the kind of textures they used to do some of the buildings. And I was just all
There was a lot of stuff going on because there was a lot of 3D elements, the cars, the buildings, they were 3D. Sometimes the characters were in 3D. There's a lot of things
yeah.
happening. And it's a really cool looking film. It's really fascinating. That's like a lot of the times when I see things that are like mind blowing to me, is usually French. I don't know what it is, but it's
Yeah.
usually the French folks, the French artists. They always be doing something that pushes the needle.
Yeah, like all the Gobelins, like animated Annecy shows that um even that whole what do they call it, Bobby Pills, that whole crew. They did what's the name of it? I don't know if you saw The Last Man.
That sounds familiar.
Oh man, I gotta send that to you. It was on
Is
oh
that
man, it was
the
on
is that the one where it's like one guy left on the planet and everybody else is women?
no. That's why The Last Man.
Okay,
I know,
all
yeah,
right.
it's yeah, it got confused because I would tell people, yeah, you need to watch The Last Man. And like they were talking about why The Last Man? I'm like, nah, nah. This is just The Last Man. And it's crazy. It's like a weird, I don't want to call it cyberpunk, I don't want to call it post-apocalyptic, but it's like some weird, like futuristic Blade Runner world.
hmm
But like everything is crazy. And then there's a dude who's like an ex-boxer. And he's
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, as soon as you said boxing, I
yeah.
was about to look it up. As soon as you said boxing, I remember that. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I remember seeing a trailer for it years ago. Yeah.
Yep, yep. All of that is so I watched the whole series. And because I could understand French a little bit, like I watch a lot of stuff in French. Because that was like my first language. Yeah, growing up Haitian, you learn Creole and then you learn French and then you learn Creole. I didn't hear, but everybody spoke to me in French when I was a kid.
All I
So
know is when I was growing up, all the Haitian kids will always be saying "sac passe, ma boule." That's all I know. I don't know nothing else in Haitian Creole but that. And then with French, I know how to order pancakes. I know how to order
yes,
omelets. That's it.
that's it.
Je voudrais du omelette. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah. Yo. No, but it's so funny because like, and I forgot all my French. I grew up, and then my cousins came from Haiti, and they started talking Creole with me. And I just forgot. But the thing that was funny was I would talk in French, but then people would respond to me in English, and I still understood them. I started learning how to really talk English until I got to like kindergarten. So it was pretty crazy, but
So
it's
when
so
you was
funny.
watching the movie, then it wasn't that hard for you because I was sitting there like staring at the subtitles, like, wait,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, but I will tell you though, there are particular ways that people speak French I can't understand. People from France. I'm like, what did you just say? But like Canadians that speak French, Africans that speak French, I understand fluently with no problem. But that European French, I can't fuck with. It's so fast and so I'm just like,
he said
man,
that black French I know, that white French
yes,
I don't know
sir.
about that.
I
That
don't know,
that,
man.
that's not in my wheelhouse right now.
That ain't my wheelhouse. Oh man, but yeah, no, that was like I have to go back and finish watching it. Probably this weekend. I'll
Yeah, it's
probably watch.
it's good, bro. Like I wish we had more stuff. So the thing is, like I feel like with independent studios and artists, we're allowed to just do whatever we want. Cause like,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna sit here and be like every Disney movie or Pixar movie or Leica or whatever is trash. Like they're good, they make some good stuff. But I feel like when you get into the independent, the smaller studios, the ones that are just like taking a risk, you see a lot more cooler things being explored. Like really dope, slight like this movie, The Scars, and I think in English they said it's called Round Away. And
Right
this is
away.
like it's just like a regular ass like slice of life movie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you don't really see
I
that
love that.
in our side of it because it's like there always has to be a plot. There has to be a hero. There has to be an evil villain. There has to be a this. There has to be a that. And like it's cool, but it gets tiring after a while. So when I see things like this, I'm like, this is dope, and I wish more people would see this, because a lot of people are like, oh, animation is dead, animation is whack, everything looks like Steven Universe. I'm like, no, you just gotta step outside the bubble and really look. We have the internet. Like, there's no way for you to not see this shit.
Exactly. And even the Steven Universe stuff, when that first came out, was very unique within itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one was really doing that kind of style. I mean, you can see influences from other things, but
Yeah, Steven got some sons.
yeah, yeah. And it's just like, you know, as far as the French is concerned, I used to read a lot of French comics, especially when I grew up. Um, you have a bunch of artists that are amazing artists. And two of my favorite is Jan and Denis Baudard. Both of them are now these motherfuckers. They drew shit in 80s, the early 80s type stuff. So some of that shit can get a little racist, whatever, you know. But some of that same stuff that you see in the scars, it comes from that because they would do these slice of right. Like Jan had a whole story, a series of graphic novels, comic strips about two hookers. Like, and it was very adult themed. But you know what? I got away with reading them when I was younger because everybody's, oh, he's reading comics. I'm like, all right. And the funny thing is, it's like when you see that kind of slice of life, that's already embedded into the kind of things that the French consume, and other countries consume. When they see something like that, it's like the same thing with like anime, right? Anime is such a huge part of Japanese culture, but not in the way that we think. Not everybody that's from Japan knows every single anime. There's Americans that know more about anime than most citizens in Japan. It's just
Yeah.
another way that they consume culture over there, and it's just whatever. But like, it's way more accepted because it's part of the culture. Over here, in the States, we have these cultural references when it comes to entertainment and everything, but it's usually put in the guise of profit. So when you have a show like, G.I. Joe that came out, Transformers, these were very uniform to be a certain kind of way. All of the stuff that derived from that, they were very uniform to be a certain kind of way. Because no matter how artistic most people wanted to get, you had to have that exec that came and they were like, nah, let's keep shit like this because we're trying to bring in them numbers. So now when you get into the times we live in now, Pixar has like this when they first came out, they had this very unique style that sort of became this industry standard. And we'd see CGI over here, and we'd see as like this Pixar standard stuff, and then we'd see stuff from like overseas. I'd see stuff from like Japan, France, England. I'm like, why are we not doing this? But then you realize that each one of these places have that artistic element built into their culture. We don't necessarily have that. So when you see a fresh new cartoon like an Arcane, or Spider Verse or Love, Death, and Robots, which were actually done by people overseas. It brings this fresh new light because the kind of stuff that I would see, especially in like Arcane, was things that I saw most character designers have in their portfolio. When they work for a company, they gotta push that shit aside because they have to uniform their stuff a particular way for consumption. Meanwhile, in their sketchbook, they're drawing shit like Arcane. It was very brave for them to just say, you know what? We're gonna do some real like indie looking shit. We're gonna do some really artistically beautiful things. And they put the money together themselves and they got it done. And look how much reception it got because of the fact that people were hungry for it. And I think that a lot of the times we tend to forget that over here. Like we tend to like say, hey, my style has to look like this. I have to be versatile like that, and all this other stuff. And, we tend to forget that the reason why we picked up the pencil in the first place is so we can be different. than a lot of the people who inspired us, so we can, bring out our own voice through our art. And we kind of lost a little bit of touch with that. And I don't think that I think that at some point we'll get to there. I know we're in a rough spot right now with AI and everything, but I think that's going to actually push artists to be even more creative and think more outside the box, because AI is going to be this artificial thing that anyone can just do, they can just do, and it's no longer authentic. And I think the more creative traditional artists get, and the more they express themselves with their art, the more value it's going to have.
Everything you said is valid. And honestly, like I said, you need to start putting some videos out, man, because people will sit here and listen to you. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm dead ass, bro. Like, you need to start putting some videos out there and just speaking, because people listen. But I would have a counterpoint in saying that I do think we already are there. I think that there are many artists on the internet, at least, if we're talking about specifically animation, that I feel are pushing the envelope or going in a different direction than what we see with, the more corporate driven, mainstream stuff that we see. One person I bring up all the time, this guy named Umami. He's on YouTube. Yeah, he started out on YouTube and basically taught himself animation through his series called Interface. And now Interface is an award-winning cartoon that you can buy on VHS. Like, he converted it into VHS and like
Wow.
sold that off in like limited print. But he's like an artist. Like, he doesn't, obviously he wants to make money. Everybody should be able to make money. But like, you can tell that he's doing it for art's sake. And because of that, because of his unique approach to it, and because of his very distinct style, he grew this really beautiful community. And a lot of people were inspired. I was inspired by him to even start animating my stuff, like my Unit 333 animations. That was because of him. So I do think we're in that place now where we are seeing that. It's just, it's not pushed forth in the algorithm as much, because like my TikTok feed, I'll see a lot of cool indie animations, whether it's 3D, 2D, different coloring techniques and styles, and it's all like very unique. You can tell that there's inspirations from certain places, but like they got their own thing. Like, if I look at somebody right now, I'm like, oh, that's Small Boo animation. Oh, that's Umami. Oh, that's what's this guy I follow on Instagram? Oh, what's his name? He does these Comrade Hoff. He does these really dope 3D animations. So I do think we're at that point. It's just that we are so, I think we're all kind of like tunnel vision right now, because we see what's in front of us, and we're also just in our own world. So it's like half the time we don't see what's around us. And sometimes I have to come up and be like, hey, what's out here? Like, let me pick my head up real
Right.
quick.
Oh, that, trust me. Hey, you know me. I'm a hermit. So like that is one of the things that I usually do is I come up and be like, yo, like I went to New York Comic Con with Karen. I think that was it last, like 2 months ago.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all this art. I'm like, oh my God, all this shit looks so great. This is so awesome. This is, and usually I used to go to Comic Cons and I'd know everybody who was tabling. I don't know anybody now, which is great, because it's like it shows you how much people are willing to put themselves out there and express themselves with their art. I think that what the art industry does need is we need a little bit more community where, we don't all feel disjointed, because there's a lot of elitism in some of the stuff in some of these spaces. And honestly, it doesn't make any sense for that to even exist. Because for us to be artists, we are, the people who shape reality based on our experiences, right? And we all have different ways of expressing that. So to confine that to some sort of like hierarchy of like, I'm this kind of artist, no, that doesn't, that shit needs to go. I think that what we do need to do is we need to reach out to each other a lot more often. We need to just have open discussions with each other, like what you and I are doing now, and like really begin to like be there for each other. Because in all honesty, don't nobody have our backs out here. If you really think about it,
Especially if you black.
especially if you black, like that's the thing. There is no union really. There's a few unions out there that independent artists can join. But if you look at some of the things that happened in the past few years of how artists have begun to try to unionize in certain places, it's met with resistance. Why? Why is that the status quo? And we literally shape the reality around you. All the things that you consume, artists do. Okay? Everything that happens, that show that you like, starts with storyboards. Like everything that you see, that ad on TV, those cool designs, geometric shapes, and everything else, that's an artist's mind that created that.
Literally the devices we're on right now.
All of it's all designed to be that way. And so the fact of the matter is that we don't have these resources or these services that we can actually, use in order to have some sort of security or live properly. It's always like a gig thing. It's always like a, contracted thing. It's like you work on a show for X amount of time, few months, 6 months, maybe a year, maybe two, you're out on your ass again. You gotta go look for another. And usually if, you go in that, revolving door, and then you're kind of like, okay, whatever. But then there are people that I know that don't have that luxury of having 2 months without work, or having a month without work, or having like 6 months without work. Like there are people that can't live like that. And the fact of the matter, it's not like we don't work hard. It's not like we don't. You know how this shit is. We well, listen, bro. I will sit here. There's some days I am flying. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And there's one day I'll just do this on the screen. I'm like, I'm done. I'm spent.
Yeah.
I'm out. Like I can't do no more. And it's a very it takes a lot for us to create. It's its own work. So we put in the hours. Sometimes I'll be at this table for like 5, 6 hours. Other times I'll be
How's
here
your
for like
back?
12. What?
You
I
better
didn't even know
stretch,
I had
man.
one. I have 2 arms attached to a chair. What are you talking about? But I mean, it's and that's what it is. It's like, so we as artists need to really start coming together more as a community, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Look, I could maybe, because since I'm in my own little bubble of people, but the more I see artists, especially the people like you and what you do, and you have like all of these things. I love some of the stuff that you usually post when you'll have like these are resources to help you out and everything else, and everything. Like this is the kind we need, that kind of stuff. Like what you're doing is needed. You know, what you're doing is something that we should all really be doing.
That's why I've been trying to do it, because I get sick of the whole like woe is me, starving artist thing. And I don't know what I feel like white artists are just like very dramatic. They're always like depressed on the internet. Like all they do is just like, ah! And it's like, nigga, are you good? Like, what
Are
do
you
y'all?
alright?
Are you happy about anything you woke up today? Like, come on! Like every time I get online, is they always talk doing some weird shit and just being like, I'm so poor. I'm. It's hard to adult today, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, we need to stop doing that, because I'm not like super religious. I do believe in a
Mhm.
higher power, and I do believe that there are like things out there, forces or whatever, and I do believe like life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I try
Mhm.
not to speak negatively about myself or other people
Yes.
or in the industry that we're in, and not to be on some woo woo shit, but like I just think it's more powerful for us to speak affirmations to ourselves and actually do the work in researching, because the money is out there. You're not
Mhm.
going to guarantee. I say that all the time in my videos. You're not going to get this grant guaranteed, but you attempted to, and there's more out there to get. The
Yep.
grants, the residencies. That's why I do this, because I want people to know that like we don't have to be starving artists. We don't have to be broke. We don't have to be a bum. We don't have to be sitting here, fiending for like coffee donations or whatever the case may be. Don't get me wrong. Life is hard sometimes. Lord knows, I've been through a lot of financial struggles, and I'm still like getting myself out of them holes. But
Yep.
like it is possible, as long as we do the work and like you said, form that community. And there's no community without communication. So it's like, if
Absolutely.
I see something that's going on, I want to slide it to the next person, even if it doesn't fit me. Even if I apply for it, I'm gonna slide it to the next person, because we all have to. A rising tide. I'm seeing all these colloquialisms. A rising
Mhm.
tide raises all ships. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to sit here and like hoard all the information and knowledge away just because like I want to have it to myself. I'm not going to
Mhm.
sit here and be like, oh, I have a brand deal. Let's say I reach, you know, or you reach whatever amount of followers. I'm not going to like change up and be like, oh, I'm hiding how I got here. I'm gonna tell people what I did. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like sharing tools. That's how communities were formed. And I feel like so many people, and it goes back to, you know, the bigger umbrellas of like capitalism, right?
Mhm.
Everybody wants to make money off of their art. Again, that's not a bad thing, but I think when it gets to a point where we are hyper focused on the money making aspect, it really divides us. We
Yes.
don't have people that want to hang out because now it's like, oh, this person might steal my idea. Oh, this person
Right.
might try to do this. Oh, this person might see what I'm doing, and you know they take it and they do way better. Now I'm mad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like
Right.
we gotta get rid of the fear. Like I tried to do. Remember, I tried to do the collective thing, you know. And some people, and I'm not calling you out because you everybody had, you know, some people were busy, but some there were other people that were part of that group in that email that were just like, I don't know what, like I don't know. And it's like, what's the apprehension? I
Right.
see other people make artist collectives all the time. What is your apprehension? It's like, why not just sit down and let's talk about it? You
Right.
know, because now it's like, you know, you over here and you still struggling, or you over here and you got this going on. It's like if we would have started this or did something else months ago or years ago, we probably would be in a better place. And it
Yeah.
pisses me off, especially with black artists that just, it's like this crab in a barrel, every man for himself type attitude, and it's ridiculous. So now it's like, that's why I'm trying to like spread myself out sometimes, where I'm just doing stuff like this where we get on the podcast and it's like we have this platform to just talk.
Mhm.
Or I do the artist opportunities things, or you know, I start the newsletter, whatever the case may be, because it's like,
Right.
again, starving artist should not be our moniker. That should not be in our brains. That should not even be a thing.
Absolutely
There's a
not.
dude, and I'm sorry for rambling. Now I'm rambling,
No,
but
no,
there's a
no, dude.
dude. Not because I get pissed off. I get tight, bro.
It's
Because there's
I
a
feel you.
dude. There's a dude on not Instagram, TikTok. He's
Mhm.
cool, but like he's doing this whole like starving artist thing. He's doing this woe is me thing, and I'm like, my nigga, and he black. It's like, what are you doing? That's not going to help you. That's just
Right.
going to perpetuate this stereotype about black people and black artists that we don't need to have over ourselves. I already made a whole video about that. This perception that we have over ourselves, right? And it's
Mhm.
just, we need to break out of that. And it starts with putting our hand across the table. Hey man, what's going on? What do you need? I'm just checking in. It don't always have to be a big grandiose thing. Like sometimes you check in on me and I appreciate that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, hey, how you doing? How was your
Yeah.
weekend? You know what I'm saying? Hey, do you want to play this? Do you want to do this? It may not be a yes all the time, but it's like the fact that we reach out to each other, the fact that people talk to each other
Exactly.
and DM, that's
Mhm.
a start. And it branches, you go off from there. It can turn into meetups, it could be virtual, in person, and then you just go from there and form that bond. Cause
It was
cause yeah.
it's crazy because like that's exactly the reason why I reached out to you because I watched Les Cars and I was like, oh shit, that shit reminds me of Hab stuff. Let me hit him up, see what's going on. Like, yo, you seen that? Like, it was literally on some shit like that. Like, it was like, but then it's like I wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't get along on that level or saw eye to eye on a lot of the things that you're talking about. And I think that what we see, especially in the artist community, is very hyper individualism. We see a lot of that. I mean, that is just a byproduct of capitalism, period. But then when you on the added aspect of being black on top of that, you know, um, we live black folks live a particular kind of duality that no one else will understand unless you're black in this country or just in the world in general. Like, but I think that yeah, everything that you said is right. We do tend to put ourselves in this position. And I've done it too, not publicly in any way, but I do it to myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. I'm broke and and I'm like, I'm just gonna give this shit up and do something else. Like we've all done that,
Yeah,
right?
yo, we've been there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Like because the thing is, it's not because we like for the lack of trying. I know you work harder than most people. I'm here morning till night. Even if I'm stuck or I have some kind of art block on some of the shit that I'm doing, I'm doodling, I'm doing something. I'm trying to push it forward. But it's like a lot of people just assume that when you do this, you're automatically going to get some kind of, thing or whatever the case is. And in all honesty, I do this shit because it's not just because I'm good at it, or even if you want to, that's debatable. I'm
Nah,
really
hold up, my
great, but
brother. You are phenomenal at it. You are
I
phenomenal at it,
try.
my brother. Come on
I
now.
appreciate you. I try my best. I try. All I can say, I say I try my best. And the thing is, it's like, but it brings me joy. And I think that it also creates a space for myself, for me to express myself, right? Most people see and they do the art as a means to an end. It's like if you were just out here trying to make money, there's a lot of ways you can go take a Series 7 license and then go fucking trade on Wall Street. You make money. But if this is the path that you chose, there's a love that you have for this. A lot of people can't say unless they're passionate about a particular thing that they do. I do this because it allows my inner being to have a voice outside of what people perceive me as. This is what's really inside me. So sharing that with the world and anybody else who resonates with that, that means that I did my job as an artist. That is why I do the things that I do. I want to be able to inspire people the same way people have inspired me. So I'll watch an animation. I remember watching um the other day the Thundercats intro, right? Because random. I did that. I just was like, I feel like watching that shit right now. Boom, put it on YouTube. And I watched it. Oops, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I watched it and then I kind of saw, sorry about that. So I watched it and I kind of saw like, I had this feeling that came up in me. Felt like I was like, 9 years old again. And I remember going and drawing all the stuff that I saw in the intro, trying to get it right, trying to be like, you didn't, how'd they draw the lightning and the red and then all the stuff and everything? And now I have the tools to do it. I'm sitting here trying to emulate the same exact thing that inspired me when I was that age. And I've kept that with me for all of the 48 years that I've been. And no one can take that away from you and no one can replicate that. And I think that that's one thing that artists, when you start to, you know, pervert it with like dreams of making it big and doing all that. Yeah, all that stuff can happen. If that's your goal, that's fine. I'm not down to people that's doing that stuff and everything. But for me, as an artist, the joy and the love of creating something that comes from here is just like nothing else. Like you can't compare with that. And once you start to lose touch with shit like that, then what's the point of even doing it anymore? And I think personally for me, one of the things that I've struggled through for the past like few years um after the pandemic was did not feel the joy anymore. And it was hard. It was a struggle. And then I had to figure out why I lost that joy. And what it was exactly everything that we were talking about. We're like, how am I going to make ends meet? How am I going to do this? This is, I'm getting older. Like, shit is rough out here. Like, what am I going to, you know? But then I just made a decision to say, nah, like, you can do this shit. You can do this. Get it together, and after some therapy, it's like, all right, let's do this. Let's get back in there and do it. Once I decided to let go of trying to achieve all these things that I thought that I wanted, it became much more liberating for me creative. Like I was able to just say, yeah, just let go of everything. Let go of the ego, let go of the wanting to, I want my stuff to be on Netflix. I want to, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But I let go of all of the things that people think that they want when they do this kind of work. And the more I let go, and when I totally just said fuck it, the more creative I felt, the more open I felt, it now it's nothing for me to just pick up a pencil and doodle, which before I would never doodle. I would only sit down just to draw the thing that somebody hired me to do, and then that was it. Like the joy of sitting there, you know, practicing, and I didn't do any of that. I was like, I'll do that shit, later. I'll just sit down and draw the thing that somebody hired me to do. All that stuff, all that feeling went away the moment I let go. I
Mm.
just let go of all that. I was like, it's not about all of that. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else. From my perspective and the way that I see things, the moment that I let go of trying to fit my stuff in a particular box, trying to make achievements that I thought that I wanted, like, oh, you need to do no. Once all that shit was gone, all the creativity, all the love, the reasons why I felt like I wanted to do it, all that came back. And that was the most important thing, you know.
We all have egos as artists, no matter how much we think we don't. There is a part of us that has that bit of ego there, and I went on a similar journey where I had to drop some things too, because a lot of the times when I was creating before, I was doing things because I thought this is what people wanted. I wasn't doing it
Mhm.
because I wanted to do it. It was like, oh, I'm gonna draw this character this way or do this joke because if I do this, then this will be the moment where I get that big boom of like, oh my god, this guy's funny. Oh
Yeah.
man, look at this nigga shit right here, boy. Trying to chase like whatever thing is hot in the moment. Like
Mhm.
once I decided to just draw what I wanted to draw, it felt like a big relief off of my shoulders and my chest, just my whole entire body, my spirit,
Yes.
even.
Yes.
That's why I have so much fun drawing Sweaty Minds. It's simple, but it's effective in the way that I want to present myself and my thoughts to the world. It's not this big grandiose thing where I have to, spend all this time and energy into it and all this stuff. Cause like I just wanna with that project specifically, I just wanna put it out there. If it
Mhm.
does happen to grow into something like really big, that's cool. And of course, I have aspirations for having, specific financial, goalposts to meet with my artistry. But like right now, I'm just like in this space where I'm chilling and I'm having fun, and I'm still making plans. 'Cause I sit in the middle where like I want to do stuff for fun, but also like I know that there's a part of the game that you have to play to
Yeah.
get to certain areas or things like that. So right now with this Sweaty Minds project, I'm just cooling it. I'm having a good time and I'm just making stuff up as I go along. And like even today I uploaded the chill guy meme that was going around.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
saw it.
I did that and I was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care if it's like 2 weeks late or 3 weeks late. I just want to put it up because I thought it was funny, you
Exactly.
know? So like now I'm in this space where it's just like I'm not gonna bust my ass because some niggas is fast, bro. When they did the Kendrick mustard sound, a dude, I cannot find this. I was talking to Morgan. She was on the last episode. I was talking to Morgan the other day, and I said I cannot find this video of this dude that animated a Dragon Ball Z version of the meme where he drew
Bruh.
himself doing Vegeta's final explosion. And
Yes.
Majin Buu had like a goatee and shit. I cannot find it, bro. But it's like, how did you do that so fast?
I flipped through Instagram and I'm like, yo, how do y'all niggas get this shit done so quickly? I don't understand. And I'm sitting here like, and not for nothing, someone who used to work in animation, yeah, you know the techniques, you know how everything is done. But I'm like, even from the time frame of Kendrick's album coming out to what you just put out, bro, that's like 3 weeks of production. Like, what
That
did
nigga
you
saw
do?
the future. He saw the future. Cause there's no way.
For
It came out like the next day. I'm like, God damn.
I was like, Jesus Christ. But like, yeah, no, it's insane, man. That's one of the things that I went through actually with Bounce was like I used to have Bounce used to be weekly. I used to do 2 strips a week in the quality that you've always seen them, right? So what I would do was I would do one for Monday, and then I had a one panel strip on Wednesday, and then I had another full panel on Friday. So what it was start off your week, with some funny. Here's your middle of the week. I used to call it one shot whiskey Wednesdays. And here's your middle of the week shot. And on Friday, here's a little something to get your weekend started if you're going to the bar. Like that's how I always had it. After doing that for 4 years straight, there's a reason why like, I have about 450 strips. It's because I was doing that shit like every week. And the thing was, I was still working at the bar when I was doing this. I was working at the bar 4 days a week. And I would come from work at like 5 in the morning. Then I would draw until I fell asleep, which was probably at 9 in the morning. And then I woke up, draw a little bit more, and go right back into work. And it was always fueled like that. But at the time, bounce was like my way of escape. It was my way of like all the frustrations dealt with working at the door. And then I was able to come home and then just be like, yo, I dealt with this weird ass fucker today. Draw about that shit. And then I would just do that. But then I started getting a lot of social issues in there. I started talking about a few things here and there. And then I put myself in this box where I would do strips based on things that were happening around the internet or on the news and everything else. I was like doing my best to stay up with everything, trying to consume as much as I could just so I can be relevant with the comic. And that's when I started to really get the burnout. And what I started to see was I couldn't keep up. And at the time, I was putting the comic out for free. Okay, so like I was putting it out weekly on the internet for people to see. And it got so crazy that people would tag me in like a story that happened in the news. It was like, what does the bouncer have to say about this? And I'm like, I don't I don't know what the hell. Like, what do you want
Not they
me to say?
pressuring
Like,
you, bro.
exactly. But then I felt that I had to keep up with that, and it burned me out. So I think probably around the time when Trump got elected the first time is when I I basically like just brought it to hiatus. But yeah, when and and people were like, I did a few comics where the bouncer, like kicked that when Trump left office the first time. I had like a whole drawing of the bouncer kicking Trump out, holding him by his belt buckle and his collar, which was pretty fun. Yeah, it just hadn't been the same for that time. And then, after I had like, my legs decided they wanted to just not work anymore. I was like, all right, when I was in my recovery period for that, I was like, I started drawing again and I said, you know what? I want to do something different. I want all my shit to look like old school comic strip stuff. I want heavy inks. I want all that stuff. And much like I was telling you before, when I went on that journey and decided to let things go, everything flowed out so natural. So I'll do strips now, but I'll do them when I feel like it. Or I mean, like I'm actually doing work for people. So when I have time in between, I'm doing them. But like,
You don't have time. Make a bounce right now.
yeah,
We
exactly.
waiting. We've been waiting.
But it's crazy. It's like, but now I just do like little bounce comics whenever I feel like it. I'll just do things that I want to. A lot of them are based on like ridiculous things that happen. Like me and Karma. Like whenever I cook, I have this. I don't know what it is, but whenever I cook, I'll hold on to hot things. And she's like, "Why are you? How are you holding that?" And I made a strip about that. I'm like, I don't. I could hold on to hot things. I don't know. And then usually it's just like little slice of life stuff that I see now instead of like going and doing like the stuff that I used to do. But I will say, and this is the only thing I'm gonna say about the Trump's presidency, when it was revealed that he won the election, I got very much more radicalized. A lot of people were pissed off. I call it my spectrum of autism, but whatever you want to say it is, but I kind of saw it coming and saw like the way that things work in this country for a very long time. So what it did was it radicalized me like no other. I said, all right, this is where we're going now. For the next few years, I'm gonna have to make content that's gonna inspire people. And that's what I plan on doing next year with Bounce. So if you thought that I was getting crazy with stuff before as far as what I was talking about and some of the issues of like going up against the man and everything else. It's about to yeah. We're gonna do some crazy stuff with that.
What's that Nina Simone quote? It's our obligation to reflect our time, something like that. Artists are supposed to reflect the time. So that makes a lot of sense. And I think we're going to see a lot of people doing that going forward. And with comic strips and with even with, I was talking about caricature artists too. It's a sport, man. Like doing like political cartooning, that's a
Oh yeah,
sport. You got to be on
oh
that
yeah.
like this. So like
You gotta be yeah.
I really commend and take my hat off to all the folks that are able to do that on the daily, on the weekly, and just have stuff pumping out 3 times a week or whatever the case may be. Because it's like that's stressful. Even when I was doing like you were just saying with bounce, like even when I was doing my stuff, stressing myself out trying to be like, let me have this schedule up and keep up with whatever's going on. It was just like it was too much.
It's too
And the way I do it now, I scale it back and kind of like, if I feel the inspiration, I do like a bunch of them at one time.
right.
And like right now I have a backlog, so I don't have to stress.
Yes.
And it's usually just things that are more ephemeral. They're like evergreen, to use like, content creator lingo. They're evergreen. So it's like, even if I post it 5 months from now, it's still gonna be irrelevant or funny or whatever, because of the way I drew it, the way I wrote it.
Yeah.
Because I thought about doing political cartooning, but that's just like, it's too much.
It's a
It's
lot.
Yeah.
You have to. One of the reasons why, like, I could, kind of, I love philosophy, so I read a lot of books about, a lot of philosophical things, and I do read a lot about, history, radical thought, a lot of leftist shit, a lot of the woke stuff.
Hmm.
But it's like one of the things that, you know, in order for you to talk about social issues or even get into that realm, you have to have like some sort of, I guess, understanding of how some of these systems are broken down. And like, I'm not saying I'm good at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's a lot more than just seeing something that happens on the news and making a joke about it.
Oh yeah.
It's there's a lot of thought that goes into some of these things because sometimes I'll sit there and I'll make a joke and then I'm like, that was funny to me. But if I'm gonna share this with the masses, I gotta make it a particular way where, they'll see it and understand it and laugh at it. I mean, you're always gonna have people that's gonna be like, "Oh, this was bad. Like, I don't like the way that I had one person tell me he didn't like the way I drew Trump. Have you seen him? Like, I don't know. It's just hilarious. But people always gonna say something. But at the same time, yeah, it does. There is like a certain amount of stuff that you do have to like keep in mind when you are tackling social issues, and because you want to do it responsibly. That's my whole thing.
I think it's like comedy. You have to
Yeah.
be well read, and you have to
Yeah.
have a certain level of intelligence and comprehension to be able to take this thing, this political thing, this heavy, depressing thing, filter
Hmm.
it through your body, and then create it in a way that at
Yes.
least a good number of people can understand it and laugh at it.
Yes. Yes.
It takes a lot of skill and acumen to do that. So I would definitely agree. It can't just be like any random person. It's just like, oh yeah, funny thing, haha. Let me draw
Yeah.
this. It's
Yeah.
gonna, it's not gonna, it's gonna be diluted.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because it's one reason why I get, really critical of certain things that I'll see that people do. And I'm just like, that I see what you were going for in that, but that is,
Yeah.
like I can't remember this one artist that used to do these comics. And the thing is, I like his art. I thought his art was really cool. I can't remember his name, but there was a dude who used to do these comics. He would have like this weird thing where, like, the girl would be texting the dude while he's in bed with the other
Oh,
girl, and
that
he'd just
one.
he'd make this whole thing, and then at the end of it, he'd be like, "What y'all think?" And I'm like, "Nigga, I know what you just did there." Like, you present, but then there's some that he does that's actually pretty cool, and I'm just like, but. And it's not to take away anything from what I cannot remember his name, but it's not to take away
Isn't
anything.
it Justin? Is it Justin Richburg?
I think yes, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was that, either that one or Real Tunes. One of the two of them. I know I've seen both of their work, and they do
Real
similar
Tunes
stuff.
dudes, his stuff is this stuff is hilarious sometimes. I'll see some of the stuff that he'll do, and I'll just be like, okay, I see what you're doing. But I got nothing against these dudes, but it's just that sometimes I'll see the cartoons and be like, oh, Yeah, you did that for some likes. You did that for some clicks because this, like, I see what you did there, and you did that to spark a conversation and it works because you'll see like these whole entire threads. This is where you get so he'll present this scenario, and then the guys will come in and be like, "Well, he's right though," and then the girls come in and be like, "What the hell is going on with that?" And then they'll start the arguments and flame wars all in there in his comments and his engagement. It's what it is. So it works out on that way. But that right there, going back to what I said, it already depends on what kind of artist you want to be. Some people just want to do that, and then other people, they do it because they love it. And I'm not saying that those guys don't love what they do, but they have a different kind of worldview, which is fine.
I don't know.
But
I don't think you can love it and cannibal. You can't love the thing that you're cannibalizing. I
I'm
don't think
trying
you
to
can. Huh?
I'm trying to be nice.
Nah, don't be nice now. Nah, 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 nah. Because it's like there's a difference between microwaving ramen and making stuff on the stove, and you can't get the same quality and be like, "Oh yeah, I love ramen. All you do is eat top ramen and Maruchan." You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
that's you.
right.
You don't really love
Yeah.
ramen. If you love ramen, you gonna go and like get the real shit. You gonna boil the noodles. You gonna put the seasonings in there, get the leeks and all that stuff in there,
All
and
that.
that's how you know you love it. But all
Yep.
them other dudes, and I don't knock it. Like get your coins, get your clout, and all that stuff, because I would probably do it too if I really wanted to like get up there. But it's like
Right.
there's a level of integrity that you should have. And at that point, let's say we both did that. And then one day we decide to switch up and it's like, oh, what's going on? I thought, blah, blah. And, then you're going to have people questioning you. Then they're going to be like,
Mhm.
are you really about that shit? Are you really about that
Are you
life?
really? Yeah,
And
exactly.
and we don't need people questioning us already. They already question us for who we are as black men.
Just
So it's
exactly.
like to play around with that and then try to switch it up the last minute. Because I hope Real Tunes and Justin Richburg don't do that. Just stay in your lane and be that. That's cool. But like, I'm not going to sit here and say that they love the game, because that's just you poisoning it. You poisoning it, and then and then and then you putting people on to like really surface level conversation. You're
Yeah.
not really pushing the envelope. I'm not saying that everything has to. I talk about this all the
Yeah,
time with like
everything has
content
to.
creators and influencers, but it's like at some point, or at what point do you realize like maybe we can do a little better? If I have this level of engagement and followership, maybe there should be something I do that's a little bit more focused in like some form of education or uplifting of our community in some way.
Mhm, mhm.
It can't be that
Right.
all the time.
Yeah, it can. It sometimes shit really is just about the comedy and whatever, and but I think you know and when I say this, I speak for myself, but I feel like in some ways I'm speaking for people like you too. That I think that we are in a time that this is the work that needs to be done. We need to inspire our community. We need to inspire hope because there's a lot of shit going on right now. We're living in some very, I wouldn't call it unprecedented because it's happened before. It's a cycle. We saw this happen, before World War II. We saw this happen after World War II. We're living in some crazy ass times, right? And I think much like a lot of the people that we tend to admire that came out of the civil rights movement, a lot of the artists, like you mentioned, Nina Simone, a Maya Angelou, a James Baldwin, Josephine Baker, Little Richard, these entertainers, well, James Baldwin being a writer, you have a lot of the art and the things that they shared because of the way the world was has resonated with us past generations. And I'd rather work on things like that and try to make art that resonates with people like that than just doing shit for clout or for a couple of clicks on, they may not come now. The clicks might not come now. The clout might not come, whatever the case is. But if someone can pick up some work that I do in 20 years and says, this is very reflective of the times, and it can inspire people to do certain things and tell their stories that they want to tell, then if I'm not here, that is the legacy. That is what I want to leave behind. And I think that a lot of things, like you said, on the surface level, yeah, it's cool to do stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if that's all you're about, then I think it's kind of sad that that's all it is. But I can also understand with the way that with the way that society is set up, that is the route that you take, and it's what it is. Everybody has their own path. And also, if those dudes decided to become authentic and do some conscious shit after all the craziness that they do, I'd welcome it too. I would be there to watch it happen and to see that growth, because not everybody has to stay the same. Sometimes,
You right.
have realizations and they say, this is not it for me.
You right. I
And
got my feelings. I take it back. I'm
I get
sorry, Real Tunes and Justin. My bad. My bad, y'all. Y'all got
and
room
it
for growth.
exactly. I mean, they, like, when what we're doing is we're critiquing. This is not taking away anything from what they've done. They've done some really good. I like looking at Real Tunes work. I like looking at, Justin's work. I think the work is great. Otherwise, I wouldn't even care about it. But it's just, critiquing it is one thing. In this day and age, everybody wanna got beef with somebody else for whatever they said. It's like, did you just drop a diss track saying you don't like our cartoons? Like, nah, nigga, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's just critique. It's, but I see it as, I would like to see more of that come out of our community. More people, especially Black folks, who do have that story to tell, and I don't want them to just see their talent as a way to just get up there and do, like, you're inspiring people to do things. You're the voice of where you're from. You're the voice of people that are going through it right now. Like, use that. That's all I'm saying. Use that and tell some really good stories. Um, that's the path. In all honesty, the more I realize it, the more I'm like, that is the path that I need to be on. Is to use the art to tell stories that are meaningful to people enough for them to feel inspired by, so they can go out and do the same for other people. You know, if two or three people buy, only people that buy my shit, then I hope those two and three people will get something from it and make something even better, and they get the millions from it. I don't care. My job as an artist is done once that's out. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see more of that. I want to see people, really start to dig deep within themselves and start telling really meaningful stories that, you know, that change the narrative of our storytelling throughout I mean, like, we have a lot of great stories that we tell, but I don't want our legacy to just be a whole bunch of bad Tubi movies and Tyler Perry shit.
Yo, nah, wait.
You know, I'm just saying, like, and it's not, look, Tyler does what he does, but I don't want that to be the end all be all for, like, we want a Black film, and then this is, we got to make it like Tyler Perry. Like,
It
no.
won't be. Because here's the thing. I think that, no, I feel that. Rather, no, I would say I know that there are a lot of great works of art from Black artists, whether they're writers, visual artists, or whatever the case may be, that is out there. I just watched a really great series recently on Netflix, of all places, called The Madness, starring Coleman Domingo. And the
Oh
funny thing
yeah.
about it is they're promoting it. Like, they're promoting it pretty heavily. Like, I've spoken to people and they were like, yeah, I saw The Madness when They Clone Tyrone came out, or whatever the case may be. I ain't hear nobody talking about that. But The
Nothing.
Madness is getting pushed out, and it's a really cool story. It's not some stereotypical generic, like, this Black man, he mad and angry at the world. Like, it's like everything in the plot makes sense. You're kind of hooked on the suspense every step of the way. There's a lot of Black power stuff in there,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of lessons that you can get from that. And I think it also is packaged in a way where the average person can still be entertained by it, and if they wanted to, could go deeper. And I think that's the solution to this problem that we're talking about, where it's like you got the Justins and the Real Tunes of the world who are making, and the Tyler Perrys are making, like, a lot of frivolous, like, surface level junk food type art. But what could happen is they can make that junk food art but still have, that little bit of medicine. What Aaron Magruder said, putting medicine in ice cream. I think I quote that all the time, putting medicine in ice cream, and
Yep.
just have those lessons there. It's like, okay, we can have the stupid meme, but also here's this other thing I made. or this leads to the other thing that I made that's more important.
Right.
And I feel that's where we can find that middle ground, so that way everybody can have their cake and eat it too. In that sense, I don't know.
Right.
Is that the right term? Have the cake and eat it too.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
have it can get to, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, these guys, I've followed Real Tunes for a minute. Like I said, I've always thought this stuff was fun and everything. So it's not like, but like, it's absolutely what you said though. There are things that we're gonna have to start really, you know, really start digging in because like it, the times that we're living in now, what we're about to go through in the next 4 years. Yeah, I don't mean to doom and gloom anybody. It's not doom and gloom if you know that deep within yourself, you want to be that beacon of change. It's not doom and gloom. It's actually hope. It's being vigilant, not fearful of what's to come. And I think us as artists have that responsibility to get that kind of work out there. Because not for nothing, the people are going to need it. The people are going to, uh, they're going to want to know that their voices are being heard and we see the pain and we're sharing the pain with them, and they need a little bit of hope for that. I mean, if you're the motherfucker who enjoys fascism, then it ain't gonna be for you. But for the people out there who are really, want to see really like true change, this is the time to step up and start doing it.
Yeah, we got to put in that work. And like we were talking about earlier, we can, it's compartmentalized. Everybody doesn't have to be that person that runs up to the cop and punches them in the face, but you can be that person that leads somebody to the resources. Or maybe you can fund a program, or maybe you're the one that hosts people at your home. And I think this is the most important time to really start thinking about that, because like you said, the next 4 years are going to be a little strange. You know what I'm saying? So community, there's no community without communication, whether it's with politics, whether it's with art, anything. And with all these, I feel like with TikTok about to get banned, with X turning into a trash fire,
Oh, yeah.
and these new ones like Blue Sky coming up, like I don't even know how the connectivity is going to be, because everybody's all over the place. Like I'm still trying to figure out Blue Sky. I feel like an old man on Blue Sky. I'm only
Dude,
34, bro. I feel like an old man. I'm like, what is
damn,
going on?
I'm the one that should be feeling like that. I got on
Nah,
Blue
you
Sky.
got it on lock, bro. I seen you over there. You eating over there, bro.
Like, I'm trying. When I got on Blue Sky, it's like now I'm actually following people that I'm friends with and people that are actually really great and inspiring artists. And everybody is sharing resources, which I love. So, and also all of my abolitionist people over there, all
Yeah, I
all of
seen
my
FD follow you, bro. I'm like, damn, this
yeah.
nigga follow everybody but me. He don't know me yet.
No,
I
no,
love FD, man.
FD is the man, dude. Like
Yeah.
I was surprised when he followed me. I was like, "Whoa, okay, like, that's what's up." When I see a lot of those cats, right? You got FD, like the whole roster, right? You have FD Signifier, you have Foreign Man in the Foreign Land, you got Oloyemi Olorin, Rebecca Azor, like all of these people whose YouTubes I follow, who I watch consistently, you know, um, and I see the work that they're doing, and they're not only providing like these amazing video essays, giving you like facts, knowledge, and information and everything else, but it's like they're doing it in the way that they can. So I'm like, this is the kind of work that I would love to do with some of the stuff that I do. Like, if I can frame a cast of characters and make it absurd and crazy and still get that message across, then and I could do that, I've accomplished what I want to do. So it's like seeing that and then being able to give somebody like, these are the heroes of the times. Like, you got your Superman, you got your Spider-Man, that's all well and good. But these are the motherfuckers that are on the ground level with you. All right. These are the motherfuckers who are out here telling you ACAB, telling you, fuck these corporations, fuck these millionaires, fuck all this, fuck all these cop cities, down with the system and everything else. They're on the ground level with you. And that's the kind of stuff that, seriously, that's where I want to go with doing Bounce, in the way that I want to do it next year. And I think that by going that route, it's fulfilled so much within me. It's like I learned to let a lot of things go. And I'm just like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Like some of the stuff that I've been just putting together, sketching out for a lot of the ideas that I have that I want to put for it have been very fulfilling. I'm able to like go into my bag of like reading things about revolution, fascism, philosophy, and everything. Being able to put that to use in the art that I do, that's something I'm looking forward to doing that next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And like with me and Sweaty Minds, my whole thing is advocating for mental health. So my goal is I want you to feel something guttural, and I also want you to feel activated. And when I knew that I was on the right path is when people said, you know what, I'm about to book my appointment today. You know what,
Mm,
this made me want to talk to my brother or whoever I haven't spoken to in a while, or all these different things where it's like they're doing something that can benefit their lives. And that's my
yes.
goal with Sweaty Minds. Like, I want you to laugh, but I also want you to be like, damn, maybe I am
Right.
slacking. Maybe I am the asshole. Maybe this person is the asshole. Maybe I need to say something. Maybe I need to speak up. Maybe I need to advocate for myself. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
where I want to be with Sweaty Minds, and subsequently with Unit 333.
Right.
And when I do my other projects where we talk about gentrification and maintaining our communities and building our communities, that's where I want my art to be. And if it turns some people off, if I get too political, so what? At this point, I feel like it's important to really just how can I put it? Just put it face value. Just have
Yeah.
open conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we always say, "Oh, let's not talk about this today. Oh, it's too much right now." It's like, when is it going to be the time? When is it going to be the time? You
You
know,
know,
you keep
there's
putting stuff
there's
under the rug. The rug going to be piled up with dust, and then you just going to have a big ass lump in the middle of your room.
Yeah, it's like James Baldwin says. It's like it took my grandfather's lifetime, my father's lifetime, my mother's lifetime. How much time is it going to be? How much time do you need for your progress? It's always the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, because we're living in this whole thing, I think that people will begin to see where we're really at in the next towards the middle of next year. Um where things are people's lives are starting going to really start to get affected, where things that you were used to, the discourse is going to change in a lot of ways. Um, and right now is the time where I think it's time to draw that line in the sand and be like, this is where I stand. I stand on this.
It ain't going to be till middle of next year. It's going to be in February. Trump going to cancel Black History Month. Watch.
Yeah.
You blacks have had it for a long time.
This is a racist holiday. It's a racist. I can see it all now.
What
But
about the orange people? What about the
exactly,
whites?
exactly. No, but you know what though? In what I'm talking about is that time for us to pump it out even more. That's when we start creating. In fact, we should start creating now.
Yeah.
So come then, we got it on lock because that is going to be so you're probably going to see that. It's actually something. I mean, I don't want to make that the conversation about that, but that's something we're probably going to see in February, like you said. It's going to we're going to start to see the discourse change in a lot of
Oh
ways.
yeah,
A
them
lot of things.
people are supercharged right now.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
other
yeah.
side, like I have never seen anything like this. The vitriol, the hatred, the conspiracy theory nut whack job things they just be spewing out, bro. Like I see it and it's wild, bro. Like the level of ignorance is what's that guy? What was that meme? The level of ignorance is too damn high. Like the rent is too damn
Yes.
high.
It's too damn
And
high,
it's
brother.
wild. Like even just like on like a micro level, not even the macro level. I watch Jubilee sometimes. They have this show
Mhm.
called Middle Ground, And
Yeah,
basically they'll
I've
have
seen.
people come on and they be on opposing sides or whatever.
Mhm.
Sometimes the conversations are good, sometimes they're really bullshit. There was one where it was like fit men versus fat men, and they had one of those
Right.
fresh and fit guys on there. And let me tell you, I wanted to punch through the screen so bad, bro, every time he opened his mouth, because literally all he was saying was just like the most ridiculous rhetoric and just downplaying so many things that people have to deal with when they may be overweight or they have health issues dealing with their
Yeah.
body or whatever, or body dysmorphia and all this stuff. He's just like, oh, shut up, whatever. Just go to the gym,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, what it like, are you here to clickbait or are you for real? And I realize some of these people are legit, they think like this.
It's real.
They
No,
legit think like this.
they are. And I think the problem that I have with things like Jubilee
Mm-hmm.
is it opens up a platform. It's like you have people like the fresh and fit guys says, well, let's see what they have to say. No, we don't.
Yeah, because they could have kept him
There's
off
no
stage, bro.
there's no platforming people as if they have something intelligent to say about any subject when it is clear that they came here to fight. There is no it is like, this is one of the things that this is one of my pet peeves. It's like, well, let's hear the other side. There is no other side. The motherfucker is wrong. Plain
I
and
felt
simple.
like that until, again, I watched Jubilee, guilty pleasure, until the episode where they did the Democrats versus the Republicans, and it was like 100
Mhm.
versus 100, and all them people on the other side just like, are y'all okay? Like, did y'all pass school? Like, the stuff they were saying, bro, I don't even want to repeat half the things they were saying. I can't remember half the stuff they were saying because I try to block it out my mind. But it was like,
Right,
I
right.
cannot believe this is happening right now. It's like,
I,
I was always the person that was like, yeah, let's meet in the middle. Let's talk. Let's hear what the other side had to say. The other side don't got nothing good to say no more. Everything is just hatred, stupidity, and just nonsense that ends up hurting them at the end of the day too.
yeah, well, there without getting into too much, there are particular things in our system that have them think the way that they do.
Yeah.
And they're what we saw in the last election was the true face of America. Everybody can talk about the conspiracy theory that Kamala probably won, they stole the election, all that other shit and everything else. It doesn't matter because Trump is president. It ain't gonna change. But what we saw was America at its core. And I think a lot of people forgot how America became America. And I think a lot of people forgot the history of this country and how easy it is to go back to those things. And I think that it's going to be, if you are a student of history and you start to see these patterns, you can kind of tell where this is going to go. And I don't think a lot of people are ready for it because a lot of this stuff we haven't seen in our lifetime. Older people have, but they're on their way out. And people like me, who are Gen Xers, are smack in the middle of it. So we saw it just off the cusp of the civil rights movement, was when I was born, into the war on drugs, into the crack epidemic, into the whole entire war in Iraq, into 9/11, into watching us come out of that, into a whole new way of thinking, into the Trump era, into now what neo fascism is coming. So, all of the things that we learned in school that we didn't see in our lifetime, if you paid attention, you're going to start to see those same things come back. And I think that, and once again, going back to this is the reason why creating the art is important, because all of the things that keep me going are the things that artists like James Baldwin, Audre Lorde, Toni Morrison, what they wrote about coming off of the cusp of the civil rights movement are the things that inspire me. So I want to be able to be that beacon. And I think that there are some sides that should be heard. Out of, some people are just that they just don't know. But then there are some sides that should not. And that's one of the things that I think that a lot of people don't like to hear in a conversation. Your take is bullshit. Okay? Your take, no. That is not the standard of living, and I'm not here to try and save you because you're a detriment to the movement, like a fresh and fit. They are a detriment to the movement. I am not going to sit here and try to debate or argue or say you're wrong for saying this. No, I ain't giving the time of day.
They just
I
there
ain't,
for clicks.
they're just there. They're just there for. But then what they're doing is they're also capitalizing and monetizing off of what you would call a lost generation of young men who do not know what to do, who are building their lives off of whatever hurt they have, whatever life experience they are sitting there generating income off of the backs of emotionally stunted people. That's all they're doing. They're not doing anything. They're not teaching them to become better people. They're not teaching them to love themselves. They're not teaching them to do well, what they call self-love is this weird form of masculinity that doesn't exist.
It makes me
So
wonder why go that route instead of taking a holistic approach and actually talking about some genuine things about mental health and wellness, because a lot of the stuff they talk about is, like you said, it's just like this weird toxic form of masculinity that doesn't help anybody. At the end of the day, it makes it worse. It's like they watch these dudes, they take these lessons, they go towards these women and other people in their lives, and now they're just digging their hole deeper. So it's just like, when do they realize that this is not helping?
it's because they're capitalizing off of raw pain and emotion. It's easier to do that. When you catch somebody in that state of woe is me, I don't know where my life is going, and you catch them in that state and you yell at them, you do this, and you start to say a little few things that are negative towards the things that they hate. It says women ain't shit. Look, you got hurt. Now all the women are the woman that hurt that one individual. All women are that now. It's easier to just do that to somebody. It's easier to just be like, go off of that raw emotion.
Well, we need to go up to somebody and yell at them and be like, read this James Baldwin book, nigga.
But no, but and I think that's what people aren't, they don't see is the reason why most of these young men go to that stuff is because they don't know what emotional intelligence is. They don't know what patriarchy means. They don't know what masculinity means. They were taught from the time that they were young that boys are like this and girls are like that. Boys are allowed to be angry, but they could never cry. Boys are allowed to go around and disrespect women and have many girlfriends or whatever the case is. This is just what men do. This is our nature. This is what, no. When you have a whole society that tells young men that this is the way that they should be, and then they try to do these things and it doesn't work, and they're left in this weird position of like, well, what the fuck do I do? And then you have this crazy diesel ass bald headed ambiguously white guy, I don't know, ambiguously race looking dude like an Andrew Tate telling them like, do this, women ain't that, nah, 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 and then making all these weird points. They're feeding, it's like a fucking emotional parasite. Like they're feeding off of that shit. Just it's like, join my seminar. I'm gonna teach you how to be a man. It's like,
The
really?
$500 seminar at that.
$500? Like this is what they do. They know what they're fucking grifters. You're dealing instead of educating them the proper way, instead of like doing the work. Like honestly, a lot of people's problems, a lot of these young men, they all you gotta do is give them some bell hooks to read. If we read the books, we'd give them a summarized version in a way that they can understand. That's the thing. But see,
That's
that's
how they
that
get it,
should
though. That's the way to get
that's
it
how
for,
they
because
get
they
it.
watch Andrew Tate and all these other video essays and these podcasts. That's how we should present it to them.
Yep, we presented to him on that level. I mean, FD had a whole thing where he was talking about it's time to put the clown shoes on, and then but like it's this is what they do, and then I have a problem with people saying, well, let's hear what guys like a Fresh and Fit or an Andrew Tate have to say or get their perspective. I don't need their perspective. Them motherfuckers is loud as fuck.
Yeah, I
I
heard
can hear.
enough. On a lighter note, though, and we are over time, I did want to talk about video games really, really quick.
Oh, no doubt.
Are you excited for the next season of Diablo 4?
I am. I'm always excited for some new Diablo. Though I am cheating on Diablo right now. I'm playing a little bit of Path
Path
of
of
Exile.
Exile.
Yeah.
It's a is it the full game or a beta?
It's early access.
And it's only for like what,
So
PC?
no, it's across, it's everything. Console, everything.
Really? I'm
Hmm.
about to get off right now.
Yeah,
I'm about to
okay.
download that
Check
tonight.
it out. I downloaded it. I turned it on a little while ago. They had, of course, they had a rough launch like every other
Yeah.
early access beta. Like people were complaining already, like I want a refund and all this shit. But they finally got it together and it's up. People have been playing. I think my
Oh, it's
cousin,
paid early access?
yeah, it's like I think it's like $30.
Oh, never mind.
I had to budget that shit. I had it saved.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm gonna, yeah, this is for Path of Exile. That's my last game of the year. So
Yeah, I
I was
just did
like,
Christmas shopping, so I ain't buying no new games. And I just bought Veilguard, and then I also bought Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, which
oh
I'm kind of like I'm not really feeling it as much as I thought I would because I'm still thinking about the old Tenkaichi games that they don't really play like that. It's very different, but it's a
yeah.
nice tribute to, like, if you didn't play Kakarot, it's a nice tribute to Dragon Ball Z's history.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
dope. That's
yeah.
dope. I think I'll pick it up on. I'm Dragon Balled out. I love Dragon Ball. Don't get me wrong. I've been there since day one. I was the dude buying
VHS Canal
Saga
Street.
VHS. Yeah, buddy. It was me. There was no, we ain't have no Crunchyroll or nothing back then, or Adult Swim, all that shit.
Yeah.
Chinatown every weekend, come back with like 5 video cassettes. But yeah, I just, like I'm just a little Dragon Ball. I think the last Dragon Ball game I played was the one done by Arc System, I think. The
Oh,
Fighting.
Fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighting. That was the last one. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
It looked
So
really good. It's a very stylish
yeah.
game.
I love I'm a fan of all of that stuff that they put out, like Guilty Gear and um the Persona fighting games
See,
and
you a fighting game head. See, I was gonna get that, but I was like, I'm gonna get beat up every time I get online. I'm good.
bruh,
I'm
I love
good.
fighting
I
games.
remember one time I tried to get I played Mortal Kombat, but I remember one time when I was younger, I had got Street Fighter on the
Yeah.
PSP. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Never again, bro. I went online, nigga
Bruh.
said flip it or whatever that
Yeah,
movie say, and I was like, I'm good.
done,
One too many
done.
times.
No, it's funny. I love fighting games. I suck at them. I'm horrible.
That's
I
funny
beat
because I don't know. I just felt, I had this energy from you that was like, nah, I probably fuck somebody up in like Tekken or Mortal Kombat. That's what I got from you.
nah, you know what? Back in the day, yeah, I played every fighting game from Tekken to all of the SNK games, King of Fighters, all that. Used to do all those crazy ass linked up combos. Third Strike, it was a wrap. I was when I saw that whole entire match with Chun-Li versus Ken when he parried all of Chun-Li's moves.
Oh yeah, I
I
saw
was
that
like,
clip.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went to
yeah.
go match Perry. I was like, yeah, we doing this. I'm doing that. I was able to. I did a lot of cool online matches, but then I forgot what game it was. Oh yeah, Street Fighter 6. My cousin had it, and I was like, oh yeah, let me try it out. Let me go see what's going on. And I got my ass handed to me. I'm like, yep, I guess I'm at that age. I can't do this no
Yeah,
more.
these
The
new
last
people are
time
different.
they different. The last time I went, and here's the funny thing, I went to Street Fighter 5. I was in Algeria, right? There was this comic festival out there.
Hmm.
And there was um there was a video game like center, like a place where everybody can go in and play fighting games and everything else. And the guy that was running it was kept on coming and say, hey man, you should come and check us out. And I was like, yeah, yo, you got a Street Fighter? And he was like, yeah. I was like, all right, I'm coming. I didn't, it was like the festival lasted throughout the week. So I didn't get a chance to go until the last day I went in there. I was like, yeah, and then they were like, yeah, good, good. And this dude was sitting there, he was fighting, and they was like, yeah, we got a seat for you right here and everything else. And I was like, all right, cool. So I'm there. And I was like, who am I fighting? And this dude comes, he's like, hey man, what's going on? I was like, yeah, this dude was beating my ass. But I was like, oh hell no. I'm from Brooklyn. I need to represent.
I'm from
I ain't gonna
Brooklyn.
let you just nah, son. We doing this. So we had like a best, like I had like it was like 3 out of 5. He got me like 4. I got even one of them. I was like, "You good, man?" He says, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm I'm esports. I represent Algeria.
Oh,
I was like,
chill.
what
Not you
you
was
been
fighting the
doing? I was like,
esport champion.
you put me in here with the esports champion of Algeria. At least I beat him one round.
Hey,
Like,
that's
I
you can
felt
say
good.
that. You can say that. Got him at one time.
I that one time I was like, oh shit. It was like one of my best fighting game moments. But yeah, now I just love watching it. Every once in a while I put on Third Strike. I love Third Strike because of the fact that the animation is beautiful. I love the character design. I love all the music from Third Strike is off the hook. Like I'll just throw it on just to get that nostalgia going.
Yeah.
That
I love me a
feeling.
game with a good art direction, man. Like that's where I'm at now. Cause at this point, we're gonna get diminishing returns. Like we can
Oh
only
yeah.
go but so far with realistic graphics.
Oh
And
yeah.
and it's like consoles are going to start becoming obsolete because they're not going to be able to push anything further than that unless we do like
Yeah.
I don't know augmented human faces or
So
some shit. Like we have to go back to like stylized games, cartoon style games, stuff with cell shading and whatever. Some of the coolest stuff I've seen
yeah.
was like what was that Cyberpunk? That was a really cool looking game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alan Wake and Control are beautifully
Yeah. Oh,
constructed.
chef's
um
kiss
yeah,
for control.
and there's like a whole bunch of other like indie stuff I've played recently in the last like year or so, and I'm just like, this is where we're at. Like if we focus on that, I think we could eat. I think video games could really elevate themselves because
I've been what I have been on. I've been on a beat 'em up thing. Like I've been going and getting all the beat 'em up
oh
games.
yeah, did you
Like
play
I do.
Street Fighter 4? Not Street Fighter 4, Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, dude, that's day one when that game came out.
Yeah, that joint was hard. I played the mess out of
Uh,
that.
I love that. I played the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Oh,
Turtles.
Shredder's Revenge. Yeah, yeah. They added a
Um,
bunch of characters to that. They got the rabbit,
yo,
the what's his name, Usagi.
Usagi Jimbo.
Yeah,
They got Mondo
Kree.
Greco. They got the yeah. They got oh man, they got everyone is in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why is April O'Neil fighting? April's moves are off the hook though. I'm like, you should have been doing
With
this
the
during the series.
microphones, yeah, she was getting busy.
It was like, but it was like, and then there's a couple of other joints. I had a beta. I remember signing up for a beta test for Diesel Legacy. I think
Is
that was
that
the
is
name
that
of
the
it.
one that's made by the black guy?
I don't know.
There's one I saw before I deleted Twitter. There was a guy making a fighting game, a beat 'em up, and he was black. And it was like Diesel Legacy or something Lightning or something to deal with like something really like
Yeah, yeah, that game is out. It's on Steam. You
what's
can
it
get it.
called?
Oh damn! You know what? I'd have to. I'll
Yeah,
look it
text
up.
me later. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody's doing like year end recaps now, so Xbox has one. And apparently I'm a what they gave me a title. It was called the Night Owl, like night as in knight in shining armor owl,
Right.
because I play a
Wow.
lot of RPGs like late at night or
Yes.
something. So I guess
Yes.
I'm an RPG head now after all these years. That's where I settle in at. I feel like that's what I'd love to play the most. Like I'll play anything. Like I played Microsoft Flight Simulator the other day. I love that.
Oh wow. I
Like
don't
you
think I
just get
played
in the
my.
plane and you just flying, and it's like
Oh
it's
yeah.
real time. You ain't seen that?
No.
Yeah, so it's on
I didn't.
if you have a PC, you can get it on PC. But
Oh
basically it's like a world simulation, like the
yeah.
actual world, and you can fly all types of aircrafts from like big planes to little hang gliders, and it's real time. So if you got on right now, it'd be 10:24 p.m. nighttime,
Yeah.
fly from New York to wherever else, and it'll be that same time with the real weather patterns and everything, bro. Like it's so crazy how they do that.
Oh,
It's so
that's crazy.
crazy. And then if you play it in VR, it's a whole. It's I love it. It's mad
Oh
relaxing.
man.
It's mad
That's not.
relaxing. If you into that sort of thing, it's mad relaxing.
I gotta see that. I'll probably YouTube it first before I get it. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
them people, the people that play it,
kidding.
dumb people is like hard. You seen how people play fighting games? They get the stick and everything. They do the
Yeah.
same shit for the flight simulator. They get a flight stick. They get the chair. They get the
What?
whole setup. I seen one dude on TikTok. He was dressed up like a pilot. He had the shirt with the little the wings and everything. And he was just doing that. He was pressing all the buttons and shit. I was like, yo, he could be a real pilot.
Oh yeah, and I think the one other game that I've been playing also has been it was Diablo First Descendant. I was playing that for a little while.
I just downloaded that because they said there was a black character. I was like, I ain't playing this until I see
Yeah,
a nigga in here that I could play.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
downloaded it and I'm just like, this don't feel good. Like the shooting just feels kind of like loose.
I pretty much like it. It's yeah, I started getting into it when it first came out, and then since it's free to play, the grind to get everything is
Oh, it's a
exhausting.
grindy game.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I'm gonna
okay,
uninstall it tonight.
yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it for you,
No,
but
it's all
it's
good.
still fun. But then yeah, there's like one racially ambiguous girl in there
They
that
always have one.
they always have one. And then I thought it was black when I first saw it. And I started looking at it, I was like, nah, you just little dog skin, bro. I don't think you black. But
Yeah,
like, but then when I saw this other character, I was like, you know what? Let me come back on. I came back on and I got like all this free shit because I hadn't been on in like months. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I'll start playing you again. I got like free loot, free, new character
that's how they
skins.
get you.
That's how they get you, man.
Like, hey, here's a free gun skin. Now play for 500 more hours to get their gun. They give you the gun skin. You don't even have the gun yet.
The thing is, it's crazy because my time of play is how it is, right? I'll wake up and I'll do all the stuff I do, take a shower and go eat and everything else. And then when I come back, come here to start drawing. And then I'll draw to whatever. I'll draw to like maybe 10, 11, like around now. Like this, I'll be closing up shop. I'm done. That's when I'll throw on the game. And usually it only goes on because I guess, I don't know, call it age, but I've been going to sleep a lot more earlier. Before I'd be like, I'll play till like maybe 1 in the morning, go get some sleep, wake up again and everything. I'll start playing and I'll be here on this chair. I'll be like, yeah, all right, cool. And then
Not you knocked out with this game looking at you. The game playing you now.
game's playing me now, and I'm sitting there. And I look at the time. I'm like, "Oh man, it's 11:30. I'm going to bed." I'm out. So I got like probably about an hour of grind in me. That's how. Even when I play Diablo, it's like, all right, I'm going in the infernal hordes for about an hour. Level up my
I
character.
do the same thing, bro. I set goals. If I'm playing like a live service game, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get to level 30, and then when I get to level 30, I'm out. That's what
Yep.
I do now with Diablo. Cause I started my I still got to level up my season. But I started my what do you call it, Spiritborn. Cause I was playing Druid the whole season.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get sucked in. I'm gonna be up here. I'm gonna be knocked out, tired, my eyes watering, back hurt. Let me get off at level 30. Hit level 30, I was good, and I didn't feel like I needed to like stay on any longer. Like you just set that goal, you get off, and that's it.
The thing about Diablo is the one thing that I do have the criticism of it is that it for a game that you pay full price for, right? Like this kind of grind is ridiculous. Like I get it if it was like a free to play, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, man! I finally got
Wait, you
my
think the grind is
first.
bad?
I get to get the unique, and the thing is, the not the uniques, the mythic uniques. Yeah, the mythic uniques are crazy. That's why I usually do builds where I don't need them. But my barb has suffered. They nerfed the fuck out of the barb.
Fuck the barbs. Y'all been eating for like 7 seasons.
Yo,
Every time I get up here, here come a whirlwind, hammer the
hey,
ancients. Get out of here, y'all. Let somebody else get some attention now.
just because we have the wrath of the gods running through our veins. Don't hate. Don't
You
hate.
know what I wish they would do though, and I hope maybe they'll do it next year. Is do just one little nugget of like PvP updates. Because I think it would be really fun for people to like fight each other. Like we build all these characters up, and like nobody goes to the PvP zone. There's no rewards in it. Like you don't incentivize it. It's just there.
And when you do get it, I think there was like what a couple of cosmetics you can get for it.
Yeah, that's
And
grindy though.
that's it.
I only got like no, I didn't even get one. I didn't even get one.
Oh, I got like the helmet.
Yeah, it don't even look good.
Yeah, I'm just no. The only reason why I got the helmet was because for the barb, it's like this big hood that covers the face down to here.
You know
I was like,
what? Somebody on that team loves y'all too much because y'all got the best cosmetics. I go in that store and I be seeing like, yo, this they got like the druids
yo,
are like at the bottom, barbarians is
yo,
at the top, bro.
y'all be having
Ugly.
the new World of Warcraft joints for the druid looks off the hook though.
Nah, to me it look ugly, bro. I don't like
Yeah,
none of
like
the druid.
with the big demon
That's too
horns.
much. Nah,
And, oh man, I love that. That one.
I like
And
the
they have the other
one.
one with the big hole in the chest, the big like gaping.
Nah,
You know, like
nah. I like I think it's a sorcerer, and they got the glowing green eyes that come out like that, and the
that was
orbs
cool.
around they neck.
That
I
was
like
cool.
that. But other than that, like I feel like Druid just don't get no love at all, bro. Like I feel like they at the bottom of the totem pole for everything. I don't know what it is. People just be like,
So,
Fuck
no, you know
Druid.
what I do like? I like the for Druid, they just took it off the store though. It's called oh, Father's Judgment or something like. My boy had gotten it because my boy loves to play with Druid, and he got it. And I was like, yo, at first I thought he was a bard because the way the suit looked, I was like, yo, what the hell? What is that? And he was like, nah, that's a new suit for Druid. And I was like, oh, that shit is off the hook. That cosmetic is dope. And I was like, yo, y'all have some cool stuff, man.
There's only one that I wanted, but I don't even care anymore because I'm switching classes now. I'm not even going to play Druid no more. It's
Oh
called the
no.
Tusk something. It's like an elephant. It's like an elephant mask.
Oh,
Have
yeah,
you seen
that
that
the
one?
spirit one. I have that one. I
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, I had to get it. I was like, that shit is off the hook.
yeah.
With
But I'm switching to
the
Spirit
gold
Born
head.
now,
Yo, Spirit Born is off the hook.
and they about to update Centipede because that's what I wanted to play
Yeah.
as. They about to update that next season. It's going to be good.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying Diablo. I think it's gonna. I People have been criticizing it and saying all kinds of shit, but they're gonna still come back to the
I
game.
don't pay
And
attention to that shit, man.
don't do that. Yeah, people
I
talk.
just I turn away from any video essay review or whatever the case may be because half the people not even qualified to be having opinions in the first place,
Thank you.
and then half the
Exactly.
time they not even playing enough to really have a really good opinion, you know. So I just focus on myself. Like even with Dragon Age Velgar that just came out, I didn't know there was controversy until after I beat the game because I wasn't going on no message board, I wasn't going on Reddit, I wasn't on nothing. And turns out
Yeah,
everybody mad. I'm like, oh well, I have fun.
niggas get mad for no reason. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there like, I don't even understand like how y'all are this pressed about the game like this. Like
Like they be sending death threats to people, bro,
I don't even
over
understand
a
that.
video game.
But see, this is what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers, like, okay, so now you want me to give a platform to an Osmond Gold or somebody to
Oh my
talk
god.
about it?
Oh god, every
Like,
time I think about that
no.
dude, I start having like PTSD. He had fucking roaches crawling on his body
Yeah,
on a live stream, bro.
yeah. Saw that. I saw that. Look, listen, I never paid attention to the motherfucker, right? Until I saw somebody have a joke about the roach. What the fuck is this about? So I Googled it. And somebody had the clip, and I watched it, and I was like, why are people listening to this motherfucker?
Because they see
Why?
themselves in him.
Exactly.
He's where they
And
want to be.
oh God,
And it's not
I'm sorry.
much because he lives in like a hoarder house. Like his whole house is just nasty.
I don't.
And it bugs me out because
How do we get here?
white people get so far with doing so little and being the most disgusting human beings on the planet. Yet we got to do all kinds of.
They
Kai
still put
Sanat
that
is
on
an
you.
anomaly. Kai Sanat is an anomaly.
Yeah,
But there's so many
yeah,
other people that are doing amazing things. Yet you got Asmongold's and the whoever else in the world just living it up. I'm just like, ew. This is
right.
what y'all aspire to. This is your god. Is this your
This is your
god?
God. This is exactly. But I'm just like, hey, I can't understand. Like, I remember, was it Hasanabi tried to have a conversation with him with the whole, I forgot what it was, the whole woke gaming. I forgot what it was. Something
With
Hasanabi tried to
Asmongold,
say.
him and Kai Sanat.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No, no, not Hasanabi. Hasanabi.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it was like, I'm like, Hassan, why are you talking to this guy? Like, I don't even understand why you even have a conversation with him. Like, none of this shit is gonna be a thing. And like in true form, they had the conversation. He left the conversation like, okay, I guess you're right, and everything else, and went back to doing the same shit. So it's like these dudes are not. They don't care.
They in their own
They don't
bubble, bro. Him,
care.
the XQC guy when he had Drake on recently. It was funny to me because
I don't know who that is.
huh?
Who's that? Who's that?
So XQC is like this another white guy and he
Mhm.
stutters a lot, so that's what they make fun of him for because he's like chat da, 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 da. But he had Drake on recently and the funny part about that
Oh,
is
that's
that
the dude.
yeah,
Okay,
he didn't know that
yeah.
Drake had beef with certain people because he kept playing music from people he had beef with, and Drake was like, we don't do that in the six or whatever he said, whatever shit he said. And I thought that was so fucking funny because it's like, how does this
That,
dude have Drake on his stream and then he's just doing all this nonsense, bro? Let me have a celebrity on my stream, bro. Like we gonna
mm-hmm,
be, I'm like, what you like?
mm-hmm.
Because you giving me the clout right now for free? You just
That's it.
pulled up. Like, what you like? You want what? I got you.
It's it's like I don't know what these dudes. They that's just a byproduct of nonsense. I don't. the fact that Drake was on there, I saw this because it was all around social media that Drake was like sneak diss Kendrick or some shit like that, and he was on some dude's stream, and I saw the guy. I didn't know who it was,
Yeah,
and I said, but I'm like, I don't know why you're on this kid's stream. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
it
Like,
don't.
I
It
don't know.
really don't.
Drake makes a lot of bad decisions, but you know what?
He's been making
That's
a lot of them recently, even trying to like go after what was it? It was it Spotify? No, it was UMG. He's going
yeah, I
after the
know.
publishing company. I'm just all right, fam. You lost. Just take the loss, bro. Like it's
I
okay.
mean,
I'll
yeah,
still listen
you
to
can't.
Passion Fruit, man. It's okay.
I don't listen to none of that nigga's music.
I actually like some of his music. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like he's whack, but like
I
he
never
don't
listened
make
to it.
music that HBCU can do a drum line to.
Well, there you go, right? That right there. That's what I'm saying. But all that shit sounds like Aubrey problems. I don't
Yeah.
like it's one of those things when Kendrick, let me tell you something. Euphoria was probably the only diss track we ever needed from this whole entire beef.
Yeah, we only ever needed
Because
one because they went crazy.
yeah, you only needed that one. That was it. Because it basically outlined how everything was going to go. And it went and it did exactly just that. And the thing is, Drake is so caught up in his own shit that he basically you played out everything that Kendrick said you was gonna do. And you're doing it worse than he said you were gonna do. He actually gave you credit. And I'm like, bro, how do you keep on, it's just now whenever I see his face now, I just laugh because I'm like, just dude, what are you still doing here? Like honestly, if he just left it alone and just decided to keep making his music, he would still be, I guess you would say, relevant. He was never relevant to me, but I guess he would still be relevant in his own space. People still, he wouldn't be clowned like this.
I mean, I
If he
think
had just
I would say he's relevant, but he's not as respected anymore. I think
right,
I think this really showed Drake's ass. This whole situation, every step that he took
absolutely,
was just more embarrassing for him and his camp and his legacy, honestly.
absolutely,
And the moment that he should have stopped was when I think the moment they should have stopped, both of them should have stopped, was when they started like personally attacking each other and bringing up like these really weird like receipts about like family members and shit like that. Cause like while it was funny at the same time, it's just like, because now,
yeah.
like, if I look at Drake, I'm like, all right, fam, you,
I mean, look, that's why I said the only diss track we ever needed was Euphoria. He told them, he warned them, if you take it there, if you don't take it there, because I'll take it there too. And he was like, I see exactly what you're about to do. And he did it. The very next diss track he did, he went after his wife, he went after all this shit. And I was like, dude, you did exactly what you put yourself in this.
yeah,
So, like, and Kendrick being Kendrick, you know, just
yeah,
went and
yeah,
did what he did. Yep, exactly. Like, that the motherfucker, when you hear a motherfucker enunciate every single syllable in something, I stay away from him.
yeah.
When
Or they making little
he's
silly voices while they dissing you. It's time to
bro,
hang it up, hang it
it's
up.
time to hang it up, man. Leave it
You
alone.
sound like a
Leave it alone.
cartoon. He just dissed you. Everybody love it. Hang it up.
Exactly. I'm just nope, nope, leave him alone. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's basically and thank you for giving me an opportunity to get my last little rant of the year on.
yeah, man. Yeah, this has been great. We are just like last time. We are way over
Way
time,
over
but it's all
time. That's
good because it's gonna be everybody gonna watch it. It's gonna be a good time. I can make a lot of clips out of it. Yo, real talk. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Here is the final or finished quote unquote illustration that me and Chuck put together. I had a blast making that and drawing with him as always. That's always a good time. And yeah, the full episode every time we talk, it always goes over time. So if you want to see like the full unedited episode, you can head over to patreon.com/habtunes. Links for everything, like I said earlier, will be in the description box below. And that's where you can see not only unedited versions of the episodes, but early access to newer episodes and any other projects that I'm working on, and so many other features. So shout outs to our Patreon founders, our $1 warriors, and everyone else in between that has supported this channel through Patreon and other means. So thank you so much. in the comments below, just tell Chuck how amazing he is. Go read his webcomic, and we will see y'all next time. Until then, stay true. We out. Deuces.